My goal is to reintroduce balance into the very area. Be balanced and find purpose and meaning when everything... I was doing so well. You see, to be spiritual means to be connected to something that is more than just this physical realm, more than just our day-to-day. I can't do this. I can't film this. I can't film this. I'm so sorry. I can't do this. This whole thing is a lie. It's all a lie. I can't do it. Okay, excuse me. Okay, new day, new setting. Let's give this another try. Because how many of us know just how fast-paced this life can be? And how many of us know just how annoying that gets at the end of the month or at the end of the week or however long you self-reflect when you realize, oh my gosh, I've made zero progress in the direction of the life that I actually want to be living. So this year, I've decided to be extra intentional, almost rebellious. And the way that I mean is that I'm kind of making it a point to rebel against just how fast-paced this life is and just how overwhelming it can be by taking practical, proactive steps towards slowing down. And not in a vague sense. I want us to have more practical ways by which we can actually slow down. And so at the end of every month, I like to look back on the previous month and kind of analyze how everything went. How was I in the main pillars of my life? But I needed to figure out what those main pillars even were. So I sat down and I journaled for a very long time on what are the core things that I need to have in my everyday life in order for me to decide that, yes, I am aligned. I am now in alignment with my goals. And after doing a lot of journaling, I discovered that spiritual alignment is at the top of the list, then physical alignment and emotional alignment. But for today, I figured, why don't we talk about the spiritual alignment? Because to me, everything flows from the source. And when we realize that we are soul beings, way more than we are physical beings, we are very spiritual beings, we are soul beings. And therefore, if our souls, if our spirits are not in alignment, then everything else kind of falls apart. At least that's what I found to be true in my own life. But when I figured, okay, I want to make a video on spirituality, I needed to really start at the very beginning. Let's start at the very beginning. If you know that reference, you're my friend. You're my friend. And so I had to answer the question of what is spiritual alignment? What is spirituality? What does it mean for a person to be spiritual? And then I did a little bit of research and found out that the term spiritual or spirituality first started being used in the Middle Ages. And that was a time during which Christianity was the most prominent religion, especially in the West. And so when people referred to other people being spiritual, they meant, okay, this person is full of the Holy Spirit. But then times evolved and religions evolved and then globalization happened. And now we became a lot more aware of other religions, other cultures. And so the term spirituality started borrowing from other religions as well. So started borrowing from Asian cultures, Indian cultures, Asian and Indian religions, and adopting applications to mean that you're spiritual from that. But then it didn't stop there because we evolved even more. And now spirituality in our modern day and age, you don't have to be a religious person in order to be a spiritual person, right? You can be a spiritual person who is not religious. And I think I know so many people like that. And what does that mean for those people? What does that mean for people who are not religious? It means that these are people who take the intentional time out of their day to practice things that are more to do with slow, mindful, intentional, inward perception, looking within. And so I looked up a couple of definitions of spirituality, and I want to read them to you. So the first one being, wait, let me put my glasses on. The first one is, the term spiritual is the quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. And I found that to be quite interesting. Okay, so to be spiritual is in opposition with material, physical things. That's interesting. And then I found another definition on PubMed, which defines spirituality is characterized by faith, a search for meaning and purpose in life, a sense of connection with others, and a transcendence of self, resulting in a sense of inner peace and well-being. A strong spiritual connection may improve one's sense of satisfaction with life or enable accommodation to disability. I feel like that's the point that I find the most important for us to discuss, is this sense of well-being in the midst of disability. Understanding the modern sense of the word spirituality is so important, because that means that it doesn't alienate any of us. It means that it can bring us all back to the sense of slowness and mindfulness, which is necessary for us to tend to the most important aspects of our beings, right? Which is our spirits, our souls. And you don't have to be religious at all to be spiritual. But why is it important to be spiritual? In my life, if you've been here long enough, or if you've listened to the podcast, you know that I have experienced a lot of life falling apart in the last 3 years. I got divorced, which is not what you go into marriage expecting, right? It was very unexpected. And then I experienced another loss where I lost my emotional support dog in the most disgusting, brutal way. And then my mother was diagnosed with cancer, a very aggressive form of cancer. And so all of a sudden, just in 3 years, my life flipped upside down to where now I don't recognize anything anymore. And insofar as the spiritual world is concerned, insofar as the material world, the physical world is concerned, nothing was familiar anymore. So my life, I would wake up, I have no idea what this day is going to bring. My body was like having weird reactions to stress. The people around me were experiencing the extreme futility and fragility and precarity of what it means to be human. And so there were days where I was like, yeah, I can't go on. You know what I mean? Because nothing in my material, physical world makes sense anymore, which is why I realized I had to reach for the spiritual. There had to be something in there that is so much more profound, that can carry me through life's disabilities or life's uncertainties and surprises. I myself am a Christian person, and so therefore spirituality to me really involves a lot of praying to Jesus and reading my Bible. But for the purposes of this video, you don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be religious. But if you want to live a slow, mindful life, a life that tends to the things that are important, the things that transcend the physical, then this video is for you, because I'm about to give you 3 tips, 3 very practical, easy, accessible ways by which you can incorporate spirituality into your life, even if you're not religious, even if you don't necessarily believe in, a higher power in that sort. These 3 tips are for you, regardless if you're religious or not. So the first tip that you can incorporate into your life that will help you be more mindful, more spiritual, is morning reading. So for me, that is reading my Bible. If you are a Muslim, it could be reading your Quran. If you are in whatever religion, you can take the morning time to really dig deep into your holy book. But if you are not a religious person, I have found that the practice of reading any book at all to be an especially empowering and enriching experience, especially if you're reading books that can actually speak to your soul, can help you grow your character, become a more, broaden your scope, broaden your brain, because we need food. Our spirit needs food. Just the exact same way that our bodies need food, our spirits need food. Our minds need food and our souls need food. So find that source of soul nutrition, so to speak, and spend time away from screens, away from your computer, away from your phone, to just eat, to feast on knowledge, to feast on things that can expand your mind and expand your soul and spirit. So that is number one. Number two is engage in some form of regular journaling or self-reflection. Now that we have poured into our souls, poured into our minds and our spirits, it is now time to reflect. It is now time to respond, because we are sponges, but the only way that our sponges will be able to retain the information that we receive, which is very valuable, very rich, very nutritious, is if we take the time to respond. For me, I like to journal very, very often. I even have it in my habit tracker, in my bullet journal, where I track how often I journal, because this is something that I'm actively working on incorporating into my everyday life. It's important for me to sit and respond. And again, that is a slow, mindful practice, because it means that I am stepping away from screens. I am stepping away from these like instant dopamine rushes, and I'm instead investing in my own brain, my own mind, and really connecting to and finding alignment with my spirit. The third and final thing is movement. Now, I know movement might seem like it's more of a physical thing, and we are going to get to that in the physical video that we're going to do on physical alignment. But I find regular movement to be such an important spiritual practice, because we are more than just our bodies, and we are more than just our spirits. Everything is so interconnected. So it's important for us that on our quest to finding slowness and intention, as far as it's concerned with, our minds and our souls and our spirits, it's also important to move in a way that is very intentional, to allow our bodies to express themselves in ways that will connect us to our souls. So for me, I like to go on long walks, whether that's on the treadmill if it's a cold day or extra hot day here in Egypt, or just outside in nature. I like to take long walks, because I find that when I go on long walks, I'm able to really listen to what my heart is saying, and I'm able to disconnect. All that I'm doing is being present in my body, and that helps me stay present in my mind and in my soul as well. Again, away from screens, away from everything else. Another thing that I've started, or actually I started in 2014, but now has become such an important, massive part of my practice, is yoga. Because when you move on your mat, you're so close to the earth. You're moving with intention. You are listening to your body. You're expanding the way by which your body is expressing itself, which is also found in dance, which is another thing that I do. I just put on my massive headphones, or I just put on my speakers, and I move with my body in a way that is very mindful and helps me listen to what my spirit is saying. So you can be spiritual. You don't need to be religious, but it's important to tend to our spirits, because literally everything else in our lives flows from that. If we are spiritually healthy, we'll find that everything else in our lives is healthy. If we are spiritually unhealthy, everything else will fall apart. And we live in a day and age where everything is so precarious. And now we are aware more than ever that anything can happen, literally in the blink of an eye. And you want to have that anchor, that thing that remains constant, that thing that gives you hope, even in your darkest areas and even in your darkest seasons. So I hope you found today's video helpful and useful. I'm so glad I was finally able to film it. I don't know what was wrong with me before. But if you like this video, please like and share, and please hit the subscribe button. It has helped me so much. I want to keep creating content that is edifying and that is fruitful and that you can actually take with you for the rest of the week and contemplate on, because we're ever growing, ever learning creatures. So again, please hit the subscribe button and then comment below. Let me know what kind of content you'd like to see me make, and I'll see you in the next one.